in Big Orange.
Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
And the Tennessee Volunteers are the SEC Tournament champions. It's been a long time coming. The last time Tennessee won this tournament was in 1979, but they've got another trophy to put in the trophy case at Thompson-Boling Arena.
The 2023 SEC champions, the Tennessee Volunteers.
Hit high in the air into left field. Stevenson circling in front of the fence into foul ground. He goes into the corner, makes the catch, and that's the ball game.
And the Volunteers will hold the trophy.
How much fun is this, man? God, I love it. High fly, deep right, and Tennessee walks it off.
The 2-2 to Denton.
Well hit deep left field. It is gone.
For the win for the Volunteers. From 40. On the way, a knuckleball. He got it!
How much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top. This is college football at its absolute best.
Welcome in. This is college athletics at its absolute best. This is the Vol Fanatic Show, a special episode featuring March Madness picks. We're going to get into that, but first, Michael, how are we doing tonight on this Monday night?
Dude, I'm excited. You know I'm a basketball guy, and I had been itching for the last 24 hours to fill out a bracket, but I said, no, I'm going to wait. We're going to do it live. But man, I'm excited. How are you doing tonight, man?
We are doing fantastic. Aside from March Madness, man, this is quite some time to be alive. You got basketball, March Madness. It's going crazy. We got the men's and women's. By the way, shout out to the women's, the only college program to be in all 42 tournaments. And they keep that streak alive. That's right. We got softball going on. We got baseball going on. And spring practice started today. And guess who was on the practice field today?
Drew McCoy was on the practice field.
McCoy was actually on the field. Now, he's definitely going to be wearing a non-contact jersey, but it's still cool that he's out there. But no, before we get into this, I want to remind you guys that our show is sponsored by Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company, so he decided to start one of his own, where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance Agency. If you guys want a quote, be sure to give him a call at 865-272-3387. Michael, it's the time we've been waiting for, brother.
All right, so the way we're going to do this tonight, we are going to do men's and women's brackets tonight. We're going to take it region by region all the way to the Final Four. Just that way it's less scrolling that we have to do whenever we share it onto the screen. So without further ado, Skylar, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first on the region?
Sure, I'll go first, dude. I don't even care.
All right.
Give me this. Let me see. Where's my right here? Oh gosh. We here. All right. We're going to start it out with the East region. All right. 1 versus 16. That's a dub. That's easy right there, right? I'm not going to take a lot of time on these. I don't know a lot of these schools, but I don't care. But I'm going to take FAU. That 8-9 always is going to be a make or break type of game right there, though. Give me San Diego State. It's a cool story that Bama got 4 teams in, but they're going home pretty early. Not Auburn, though. I'm giving it to them. And then I'm going to take BYU because I don't even know how to say that other name.
Duquesne.
Yeah, fair enough. Give me Illinois. Give me Washington State. I'm going no upsets here in the East region. No upsets whatsoever. We're taking the lowest seed every round. All right, and then are we finishing this thing out to the whole region?
Yeah, go ahead and finish out the region.
All right, I'm gonna stick with UConn here. They're a pretty dominant team. Give me Auburn to make the Sweet 16, and then I'm actually gonna take BYU for my first upset. And then give me Iowa State here. And then I'm going to take UConn. Ooh. Give me BYU and then give me UConn. That's my bracket in the East region.
All right. So I will do mine now in that region.
Whoops. Sorry.
No, you're good.
We went to click that at the exact same time.
Yeah. All right. So I do have a few more upsets in this one. I am going to stick with UConn, the number 1 overall seed, getting the win over Stetson. I'm going to take Northwestern to beat FAU in this one. Northwestern's got a fantastic guard in Boo Buie. I think that he's going to lead the way in this one. I am going to take San Diego State against UAB. I agree with you. It's awesome that Alabama got 4 teams, but UAB will go home early. They have not been extremely tested. Auburn is going to beat Yale in this one. I've also got BYU over Duquesne. I've got Illinois over Morehead State, but I do think that this game is going to be close all the way to the end. I've got Drake over Washington State in the 10-7 upset there. And then I've got Iowa State defeating South Dakota State. In the round of 32, I've got UConn over Northwestern. Once again, I think this is a closer game than a lot of people will think. This is also going to be a very close game as San Diego State has got a good defense just like Auburn, but Auburn's offense is a little bit better, so I'm going to take Auburn to win this game. BYU and Illinois, I'm also going to take BYU over Illinois in the 6-3 upset. Then I have got Iowa State over Drake in another close game.
But I'm going to stop you right there. So even though you had a little bit of upsets early, we still actually had the exact same Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, we've got the exact same Sweet 16.
Okay, and then also, spoiler alert, or not spoiler alert, but I just want to let everybody know that you actually took the time to build this bracket before the stream. I'm filling this thing out on the fly. So, like, whatever we have is truly, like, I don't even know what you picked until you pick it. I just want the folks to know that who are watching. So I think that's pretty cool that we still have the same Sweet 16. But I think a lot of people's brackets are going to look similar to this.
This is where mine is going to differ from everybody's.
Oh, you got Auburn winning, don't you?
I've got Auburn beating UConn.
Attaboy.
I've been saying for quite a while, I think UConn is going to go back-to-back, but everybody is picking them. And kind of like Alabama last year's the number 1 overall seed, I fell into that trap, and I'm not going to do it this year. Now, I'll look silly if UConn wins it, but also no team has won back-to-back since Florida did it in 06 and 07. So I'm going to take Auburn to upset UConn in the Sweet 16. And I have got BYU playing against Auburn in the Elite 8.
Okay.
I've got Bruce Pearl's team going to the Final Four.
I see you. Auburn making a run. So now, did your mind defer because of the run they made in the SEC tournament?
I think they're playing really hot right now. The one thing that I will say that kind of scares me about Auburn is they don't have the best quad 1 record, but they have not lost a quad 2, quad 3, or quad 4 game. So that kind of scares me a little bit that maybe the moment can get too bright for them, but they're also on a very hot run right now. So
I totally understand. So you have you have Auburn making it to the Final Four. I have UConn, but we have the exact same Sweet 16 in that region, and we even both have BYU right there in the Elite 8. So a little bit of difference, so it'll be fun. Keep it competitive. I mean, we don't want to be the exact same, and I don't think we really want to be completely different either. So that's a really good first region right there, I believe.
Yeah. So if you want me to, since I'm on it, I'll go ahead and do the next one. We'll just do 2 like that if you're good with it. All right. So going down to the West region on the same side of the bracket, I know there's not a place to pick these games here, but I do have Howard beating Wagner in the first of the play-in games. And then, of course, I've got North Carolina beating Howard. I don't see a 16-1 upset this year. I just don't think that will happen. I do have Mississippi State beating Michigan State. Both of them are very similar, but Mississippi State is a hot team right now, and I cannot trust Michigan State this year. They've let me down a couple of times whenever I've watched them, and I like Tom Izzo, but this year's team they hadn't got it done whenever they needed to. I've got St. Mary's over Grand Canyon. I wanted so bad to pick Charleston in this game here.
Do it. You're a Vol fan. It's understandable.
Looking at it on paper, I can't do it. I hadn't actually watched Charleston, but I feel like Alabama is not going to go one and done like they did in the SEC tournament. So I do think that they win at least one game in the tournament. I do have New Mexico beating Clemson, though, in the 11-6 upset here. Then I've got Baylor over Colgate. And I've got Nevada over Dayton. Nevada is a sneaky good team. Then I've got Arizona over Long Beach State to round out the round of 64 in the West bracket. I've got North Carolina over Mississippi State. Then I've got St. Mary's over Alabama. I just feel like, Alabama can get hot, but we've not seen that team lately. So I think that they bow out in a round of 32, and St. Mary's advances to the Sweet 16. I've got Baylor over New Mexico in a very close game. New Mexico, I don't know if I mentioned, they are a very good defensive team, and they're very comparable on offense. They just might not be quite as tested as Baylor, because Baylor has the number one strength of schedule in the nation this year, and they performed very well. They're 10-9 in quad 1 games and 4-1 in quad 2 games. So they're tested. And I've got Nevada upsetting Arizona in a round of 32.
Okay.
Now in the Sweet 16, I do have North Carolina over St. Mary's. I've got Nevada over Baylor in the Sweet 16.
Oh, he's going upset crazy on this one.
I've got Nevada is a very sneaky.
So Nevada is the Cinderella of this year's March Madness.
I think they will be. I think Nevada will be the Cinderella this year.
I got you. Okay.
And then I do have that Cinderella run coming to an end here in the Elite Eight as North Carolina advances to the Final Four.
Yeah, but Nevada making the Elite Eight would be the storyline. I mean, that would be insane. So I got it. So North Carolina going to the Final Four against Auburn. I like it. All right, brother. It's my time to shine. And we are going to, once again, take the lowest seed in every game, brother. That's what we're doing. There's no upsets this year, all right? No, I'm joking. But we are taking Mississippi State against Michigan. I think the SEC sneakily, I don't think there's a single team in the SEC that's going to go one and done in this tournament. I strongly believe that. Now, Florida may break my heart, but I would be totally okay with that as a Tennessee fan. So,
yeah.
What's up, Landon Tucker? Dude, welcome to the stream. That's right. We choose Mississippi State against North Carolina. I believe. I just need you to believe. We're going St. Mary's right here. Pretty simple. We are taking Alabama over Charleston. No brainer there. I am taking Clemson over New Mexico. And I will be taking Baylor. I'm keeping this short and sweet. I hope you are okay with that. I like your pick in Nevada there. I do. I really do, because you know more about this than I do. But just because you took Nevada all the way, I'm actually having them going on one and done. All right?
Hey, that's not fair. Even. That's fair. You know,
been giving me Arizona. I think I actually did take the lowest seed, now that I'm thinking about it. I did. That's okay. That's okay. Because this is where the shakeup's going to happen. But not in this game. Give me North Carolina. And then right here, I've got Alabama winning against St. Mary's. All right, call me basic. It is what it is. Clemson against Baylor. I think I like your pick on Baylor. Baylor's been strong all year. Dayton, Arizona. I would like to see Dayton pull this upset. All right, Dayton's going to be kind of my surprise pick of this region. And truthfully, I don't think Arizona's that great.
I was going to say, we both have Arizona bowing out in round 32.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Arizona makes it to Sweet 16 this year. Now, they could be the team that makes it to the Final Four, but me watching them, the few games that I did, they just didn't look like a takeover team, in my opinion. So we are here at the Sweet 16. No, the Elite Eight. I think no, Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah, Sweet 16.
I'm going crazy. I think Alabama gets it done.
Wow, you got Alabama over North Carolina.
Yes, sir. I got Alabama over North Carolina. Alabama is a team that, when they want to, they're very comparable of Kentucky. All right, they can score 100 points in any given game. They can also give up 120 points any given game.
Yeah, that's the thing that scares me about Alabama is they do not play good defense, but they can.
The thing that gives me a little bit of belief in Alabama is the fact that their guards can score at will. Guard play wins in March, and North Carolina has some good guards themselves, don't get me wrong. But, I've been very laid back on my upset picks up until just now. I think that's going to be one of those upsets for the ages, honestly, because I think anybody, if North Carolina and Alabama actually make it to the Sweet 16, I don't think there's a person in this world choosing Alabama. Unless they just look unstoppable in the first two games, right? So I'm going to take Alabama there, and then I'm also going to have Baylor. And then it's going to be Baylor, Alabama, and then I'm taking Baylor to the Final Four. Give me Baylor.
Yeah, I can very well see Baylor making it to the Final Four. Just as I mentioned, their strength of schedule is number one. They're very tested this year. I think that they could make it that far. So you got Baylor and UConn facing off in the Final Four then.
Baylor and UConn on that side of the bracket, I sure do.
All right, you want to go ahead with the South region?
I sure can, dude. Is that the region you want to do next, is the South?
Yeah, we'll go back up top with Houston.
Let's do it. All right, man. Give me Houston to start out. I'm going to take A&M over Nebraska. Like I said earlier, I think SEC teams are going to make it out of the first round. Give me Wisconsin over James Madison. Give me Duke over Vermont. NC State, by the way, just won the ACC championship. But Texas Tech is one of the biggest, is in the Big 12. The Big 12 is one of the best conferences in basketball. I think NC State will be riding that high from the ACC championship. NC State's not really a great team per se. I think they went 9-12 in that conference before going on a run there in the tournament. So give me Tech. Give me Kentucky over Oakland. Excuse me. I don't know who's winning these games. I didn't pick these, by the way, but I think they play this game either Wednesday night or Tuesday night or Wednesday night.
Yeah, the play-in games are tomorrow night and Wednesday night, so I'm not sure which day that one's on.
Right, doesn't matter. Florida's going to win that game regardless, and then I'm actually going to take Marquette to beat Florida. I don't think they make it to the Sweet 16. I'm going to take Tech over Kentucky. That's a big upset, but Tech's a strong team. Don't get me wrong. And like I said, they play in a pretty tough conference too. SEC's big, but so is Tech. And yes, I'm a big Cat hater as a Tennessee fan, but that's not really why I'm making that pick. I really think Texas Tech can make a little run here. Give me Duke over Wisconsin, and give me Houston over A&M. I'm going to take Houston over Duke, and then I'm going to take Marquette over Tech. And then I believe I'm going to take Houston to win the bracket. That's how we got it. So my Final Four is shaping up. UConn, Baylor, and Houston. Call me basic. Whatever, dude. I'm trying to win this tournament.
Yeah, so Houston into the Final Four. That's all right. Let's see. So going with mine, I've got Houston beating Longwood. I don't think that one is close. I've got Nebraska over Texas A&M.
No shot.
I think Texas A&M, they used all their magic to get into the tournament. Now, Wade Taylor and Boots Radford, they are very good.
When they're on. I'll give you that, yeah.
They can get hot. Now, I think the X factor in this game will be Garcia for Texas A&M. Can Nebraska keep him off the boards? But I am going to go with Nebraska in this one. They've played some tough competition this year, so they're well tested. But so is Texas A&M. I've got James Madison over Wisconsin in this game. Now, the thing that scares me about this one is James Madison is not very tested. They've only played two quad one games this year. They're 1-1. Only one quad 2 game in which they were 0-1. They're 7-1 in quad 3 and 22-0 in quad 4. Now, some of that has to do with the conference that they play in, not terribly strong, but they also didn't test themselves too much in non-conference. But I do think that James Madison can get it done against Wisconsin. I am going to take Duke over Vermont. And I'm also with you that Texas Tech is just a better team than NC State, so I'm going to take Texas Tech. I've got Kentucky over Oakland. I've got Colorado beating Boise State in the play-in round, and I've got Colorado coming out and beating Florida.
Okay. We calling shots early. I see it.
Yep. I so bad wanted to pick Western Kentucky here because I'm not going to say I'm a closet Western Kentucky fan, but I find myself whenever they play, I root for them. So I wanted to pick them, but they're just not tested enough, in my opinion. So I'm going to take Marquette.
What scares me the most is I feel like there's got to be a 15 over a 2 at some point in this tournament.
Well, I actually found this out earlier. There has been a 15 seed advance to the Sweet 16 each of the last 3 or 4 years, but I don't have a single one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it better not be our Vols, baby.
Yeah, I don't have a single one of them. So
I got you. Yeah.
I am going to take Houston over Nebraska. James Madison's run comes to an end here as Duke beats them. I didn't mention it, I wanted to take Vermont over Duke too, just because Duke, when they're a 4 seed, is not the luckiest team in the world. But I think after Duke went 1 and done in the ACC tournament, they're going to go on a little bit of a run. I'm actually going to change my pick here.
I knew I was going to make you change your pick of something.
I was going to take Texas Tech here.
But you didn't expect me to do it, did you?
I didn't. I do think that Kentucky, their offense has played very well here lately. Their defense has come along. So I think that they'll get the win over Texas Tech here. And then I'm going to take Colorado.
No shot. Okay.
I've got 2 10-Cs making a little bit of a run. I've got Colorado beating Marquette. I do have Houston beating Duke here.
It's got to be Kentucky at that point, right?
It's going to be Kentucky.
I was going to say, it's got to be, right? Okay.
But I will say, when I had Texas Tech here, I had Colorado facing off against Houston.
Well, I mean, that would make a little bit more sense, but there ain't no way if Kentucky makes it that far, there's no way they're losing to Colorado.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I do have Houston going to the Final Four. I think that this is going to be a bad matchup for Kentucky, just like it would be for Tennessee in this game. So I've got Houston advancing to the Final Four in Arizona.
So you got a couple of 1 seeds as well. So, I mean, we're not terribly off, but we are a little different. So I like it. I like it a lot. I think there's a real chance of competitiveness here. Just know that if our 1 seeds lose, I am done with March Madness, and I could fully see that happening in like the round of 32 too. But go ahead, finish up that last region.
All right, so the Midwest region,
my favorite one.
Yeah, in this game, I have got. Let's see, I didn't even make my pick for that one. I've got Grambling over Montana State in the play-in game here, but then I've got Purdue beating Grambling in the game. I have got TCU beating Utah State in the 8-9 game. And interesting fact, I don't know if you knew, the 9 seeds actually have a better record over the last 10 years, I believe it is, than the 8 seeds. And I've got 2 and 2. So I've got 2 9 seeds and 2 8 seeds moving on. I've got Gonzaga beating McNeese State. I've got Samford beating an injured and beat up Kansas team in the round of 64. I've got South Carolina beating Oregon. I've got Creighton beating Akron. I've got Colorado State beating Virginia, a bad offensive Virginia team. So I do have Colorado State winning this game, but I do have Texas beating Colorado State in that 7-10 matchup.
I fully agree with you because this is going to be another Rick Barnes versus Texas rematch, correct? If you say no, dude, I swear to God. Okay.
No,
I will leave the stream in the middle of the show. I swear.
I've got Tennessee. There's not another St. Peter's Magic run this year. But interesting fact: did you know that
they made it to the Sweet 16 last year or 22? What did they do?
Well, it was in 2022 that they made the Sweet 16. But I was going with Zakai Ziegler's brother actually plays for St. Peter's, so they will be facing off against each other in the round of 64.
No, it'll definitely make that game a little bit more fun to watch because I'm hoping we win by 20.
Yeah, it needs to be a convincing win.
It does. It really does. Build up the confidence for the boys.
Yep. So I've got Purdue in the round of 32 advancing over TCU. I've got Gonzaga keeping their Sweet 16 streak alive. I forget how many years in a row it is that they made the Sweet 16, but I've got Gonzaga. I've got Creighton beating South Carolina. And then I've got Tennessee over Texas in the round of 32. Then I've got Purdue over Gonzaga. And in a very close, high-scoring game, I do have Tennessee moving on. This is the matchup I was calling for the national championship.
But then they put us in the same bracket.
Yeah, then they put us in the same bracket, which I'm okay with. I would much rather play Purdue than, say, Houston in the same bracket. Now, unfortunately, the winner of this game would have to face off against Houston. I do have Tennessee because I stated already Tennessee will make the program's first Final Four this year. So I've got to stick with my word on that.
Absolutely, 100%. And I agree with you, brother. And let's see here. I'm going to move on and do my picks real quick. I got Purdue. I've got Utah State. Now, I was checking because you made that stat point. And I've actually got 3 8s and 1 9, and the 1 9 is actually an SEC team. But I'm gonna take Utah State over TCU, even if that's a loss. Like if I don't get that pick right, that's okay because Purdue's gonna win that game regardless. You took Gonzaga, and I agree with that pick. But you took Samford here. I just don't see Kansas going one and done in the big dance. All right, I can't. In my basketball mind, I can't do that. And I kind of want to see this matchup right here. I think that'll be a massive game between Purdue and Kansas. Give me South Carolina over Oregon. That's not an easy draw. 6 versus 11, and you're pretty comfortable as a South Carolina fan, but then you realize it's Oregon, and then you're immediately uncomfortable again. But give me Creighton. South Carolina over Creighton, I think, is a sneaky, really good matchup. But
if South Carolina can score enough points for because Creighton is a high-scoring team,
right?
I think I agree with you.
The problem is that South Carolina is really hot and really cold. I don't think they can put together multiple games. So give me Creighton there. I'm with you. It's Texas versus Tennessee, and it's Tennessee taking it. Tennessee versus Creighton, I think that's exactly what you had, and then I have Purdue, Kansas. I've got Tennessee going, but they're not going to have to worry about Purdue. I think Kansas gets the win there.
So either way, you've got a rematch from the from the Maui Invitational.
Correct, because Tennessee played both Kansas and Purdue, I believe. And they also played North Carolina. So, but Tennessee versus Kansas. Again, regardless who Tennessee plays, if it's Kansas or Purdue, they have to play a massive center, so they don't get away around that. But I don't think Purdue is going to make that crazy run. I think they'll be kind of one of the, not blue bloods, but one of the top seeds that doesn't make it to the Elite Eight. I'm taking Tennessee as well to win this region. And I told you this in our last stream that, Tennessee, I wanted them to make an Elite Eight to be happy as a fan. But after going one and done in the SEC Championship, man, that really ticked me off. And Tennessee better making a historic run. And by doing so, by making their very first Final Four, I agree with you on that. So I have a 1, a 1, a 2, and a 3. I believe you had a 1, 1, 2, and a 4.
Yep.
So pretty close right there. We don't see any big underdogs making the Final Four this year, no?
No. I mean, there could be somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it.
I understand. So I will go ahead and make my championships pick. I'm going to go Baylor over UConn. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because everybody and their mother's picking UConn. All right? Yeah. But I'm going to have Baylor versus Tennessee. And I'm not even going to wait the suspense. All right, give me Tennessee. I'm submitting that damn bracket. All right, thank you. Your turn.
All right, so Skylar has got the Vols winning it all.
Yeah, I'm a homer. It is what it is.
Yeah. All right, so Auburn and North Carolina is going to be a very good game. If we see that, you've got the number 10 offense per Ken Palm in Auburn versus the number 24 offense in Ken Palm for North Carolina. Number 4 defense for Auburn, number 6 for North Carolina. I do think that North Carolina ends Auburn's run here.
I think that's an easy pick with those two. Yeah, I mean, 100%.
Yeah, I do think that it's going to be an interesting matchup between Baycott for North Carolina and then
what a crazy storyline for the SEC and for Bruce Pearl, though, right? Making the Final Four, SEC would have 2 of the Final 4 teams. I mean, that would be an insane scenario if it plays out, and I don't think anybody should be ashamed if Auburn gets beat right there.
Yeah, I agree. And as much as I would love to pick Tennessee here,
hide that homerism.
Tennessee homer. It's a bad matchup for Tennessee in this game against Houston. But, I mean, you look at it on paper, Tennessee and Houston are almost identical. As Houston is number 17 offense, Tennessee is number 29. Houston is the number 2 defense. Tennessee is the number 3. Houston is just a little bit better and a little bit more tested in quad 1 games, as they're 16-4 in quad 1 games this year. Tennessee is 8-7 in quad 1 games. So I do have Houston in this one.
Hey, let me stop you right there, brother.
Not a good matchup.
Let me stop you right there, brother. What conference does Houston play in?
The Big 12.
It's a pretty good conference. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, Big 12 is normally the best basketball conference in the nation. Now, this year, I think it's very close between the Big 12 and the SEC.
They both got 8 teams in, right?
Yeah, they both had the most teams with 8 teams.
Yeah. Who called that 8 teams, by the way? Who called that?
You did. You did.
I did. It's all good. It's all right. I don't need no credit. You got a 1 versus a 1 in the championship. I tell you what, though, that would be exactly what the people wanted, right? I mean, that is you talking about you getting the best of the best. I just don't see March Madness. I guess it happens every now and again, but I don't think how often is it that a 1 meets a 1 in the national championship game?
Here as of late, it hadn't been often.
No, it hasn't. But I'm all for it. Give me it. I'm all for it. But who do you have winning this thing? It's got to be Houston, right?
I'm going to take the defense. I'm going to take Houston.
That's what I figure.
Let's see.
Oh, I didn't even feel that thing.
Total points. That's just a tiebreaker thing. I mean, nobody's ever going to get a perfect bracket, but total points, I'm going to go 1.
You have no idea how many brackets I filled out before this. No, I'm joking. It's 0.
All right, submit that. So I have got, well, I'm not going to fill that out right now.
Unbelievable. Mine didn't do any of that. There it is. That's what mine
I don't know. Oh,
get that crap off the screen, bro.
It's because I hit those check marks there.
So Tennessee,
like entering it. So,
well, all right, dude. That does it for the men's picks. Now you said you wanted to do the women's as well.
Yeah, we'll do the women's. I'm not now. I did not go in depth on the women's like I did on the men's. But that's because I know who's going to win it.
I mean, Tennessee.
I wish. If Pat Summitt was still there, I'd say yes.
No shot. All right. All right, because I'm new to this. Do I click create another bracket and then no?
All right, so go back to the dashboard.
All right. Oh.
And then Up at the
Women's
top.
tournament I got
Yes,
it. I got
yes,
it.
there you
Create a
go.
bracket. We are here. We're on it. All right, brother. I started it last time, so I'm gonna let you start it.
Yeah, I'll start it this time. Let's see. Oh, I need to share the women's tournament one because it pulled up a different screen. So,
Did it really?
screen.
Oh, it did.
All right. So I do have South Carolina, the number 1 overall seed, winning game.
You don't say. You don't say. You don't think you think they keep that undefeated streak going?
I do.
All right.
And spoiler alert, I've got South Carolina winning the whole thing.
I mean, you might as well just go ahead and click it again, click it.
Yeah. I've got North Carolina beating Michigan State. Florida Gulf Coast is a good women's team, but I do have Oklahoma in this game. I've also got Indiana winning. Texas A&M could give Nebraska a run for their money, but I'm going to take Nebraska. I'm going to take Oregon State. I'm going to go Marquette over Ole Miss in this one. Ole Miss has been a sketchy team at times this year, so I am going to go Marquette. I've got Notre Dame. What you got?
Justin, we appreciate you tuning in, brother. Go Big Orange. We are all for it, my guy. Thank you for joining the stream.
Yep, absolutely. So I've got Notre Dame over Kent State. I do have. I didn't realize I had the Battle of the Carolinas in the round of 32, but South Carolina
Does that really change anything? I was about to say it doesn't.
No, not at all.
A little bit.
I've got Indiana over Oklahoma. Give me Nebraska over Oregon State in this one, and then I've got Notre Dame over Marquette. South Carolina, easy dub over Indiana. And then I've got Notre Dame facing off against South Carolina before South Carolina makes the Final Four in a close game against Notre Dame.
That's not even a question, dude. I mean, I wish I could disagree with that, but I don't. Because I'm gonna agree with you on South Carolina. They probably win by 50. Not even joking. I'm gonna take Michigan State here just to be different because I know that's only a 1-game difference. Because South Carolina's gonna win regardless.
Yeah.
I am gonna take Oklahoma here, and I am gonna take Indiana here. But I'm gonna take A&M to upset Nebraska. I just believe. Give me Oregon State, and then I'm going to take Marquette over Ole Miss, and then give me Notre Dame. I'm going to take Notre Dame like you did. I'm going to take Oregon State, and then I'm going to take you picked Indiana, didn't you?
I picked Indiana.
Totally going against that. We're going South Carolina versus Oregon State, just to be a little different. We're going to take South Carolina overall. That's how we do it. I'm going to go ahead and pick it's Regional 4. It's not Southwest East. What the hell? Okay. We are going to take Texas. Excuse me. I think I like Florida State in this one. I'm not even going to lie. Florida State's got a solid women's team. Give me Utah. Give me Gonzaga. Give me the Lady Vols. All right, I've been waiting on that one. NC State for sure. Give me Maryland over Iowa State. And then give me Stanford. I'm going to take Stanford there. Tennessee over NC State. Unfortunately, even though the Lady Vols are playing some of their best ball, I don't see them making the Sweet 16 2 years in a row. They're not showing me enough consistency for me to want to pick them. So yeah, I'm putting my homerism aside. I'm joking. Yes, I am. Putting my homerism aside, and I'm saying NC State's going to win that game. I'm going to take Utah over Gonzaga, and then I'm going to take Texas over Florida State. I'm going to take Texas to go there. I'm going to take Stanford to go there. It's a 1v2, 1 versus 2, and I'm going to take Stanford to go all the way.
So you've got Stanford and South Carolina facing off in the Final Four then?
I do, brother. Right there.
I think that'll be a very good matchup.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think with women's, not that there's not as many upsets, but I think there's a more clear difference in the teams from top to bottom than men's basketball. Is that fair to say, maybe?
Yeah, it is. Now, it's getting a little bit, I guess you would say, watered down some as far as, there's more discrepancy between the teams because of the transfer portal, but it's still, the favorites are more likely to win than the underdogs just because of the ability to recruit, the coaching, and all that. So, but it is starting to change a little bit because of the transfer portal. But I will go ahead and pick my Regional 4 bracket. I do have Texas over Drexel. I've got Alabama over Florida State. I just don't see the butt whooping that Tennessee gave them in the SEC tournament being their last victory of the year. I think that they come out and they beat Florida State. I do have Utah over South Dakota State, Gonzaga over UC Irvine, Tennessee over Green Bay, Chattanooga. No, I'm sorry. North Carolina State over Chattanooga. I would love to see a Chattanooga versus Tennessee round of 30.
That would be kind of cool.
I did find out that the last time Chattanooga won a game in the NCAA tournament was in 2004. I found that out today. So it'd be awesome if they upset NC State there, but I just don't see it happening. I've got Iowa State over Maryland, and give me Stanford over Norfolk State. Going back up, Texas over Alabama. I think that's a close game, though. Give me Utah over Gonzaga. Call me a homer if you want to, but I think that Tennessee is playing well enough right now that if they play the brand of basketball they did against South Carolina, they pull off the upset there. So give me Tennessee in the Sweet 16.
Well, I mean, hell, brother, if they play like that, they're going to the Final Four. I mean,
they very well could. I do have Stanford over Iowa State down here.
Sorry for cussing. Family friendly.
You're fine. Texas over Utah in the Sweet 16. Stanford does beat Tennessee here. I think this is a rematch from earlier this year. I could be wrong, but I do think Stanford does get the better of Tennessee.
But we had the same Elite Eight match, right? 1 versus 2.
We do. I do think that Texas, they're on a good run right now, so I'm going to pick Texas to play against South Carolina.
Oh, he's taking ones across the board for the Final Four, 100%. I'm calling it right now.
Maybe. I don't know yet.
Okay.
All right, moving up to Regional 2, I do have Caitlin Clark over, let's see, it's UT Martin, and I think that's Holy Cross in the other one.
Hey, shout out to Tennessee with the teams now. Hey.
Yeah, Tennessee women's got a couple of different teams in there. They might, let's see.
MTSU, there's 4.
Well, I was looking to see, Vanderbilt did not. Yes, they did. Tennessee is
they have to win in, I guess, but yeah, they're in.
True, but yeah, Tennessee's got 5 teams in there from Tennessee, Chattanooga, Vanderbilt, MTSU, and then UT Martin.
That's insane, brother.
Iowa gets the win in that one. Princeton has got a good women's team, and I'm going to pick the Princeton upset there over West Virginia. Colorado defeats Drake. Colorado's kind of fell back a little bit. They started off very strong, got the upset over LSU early in the year. But give me Kansas State over Portland. Give me MTSU in an upset over Louisville. And
I like that pick. I like that pick a
homer.
lot.
Yeah, call me a homer there again if you want to. But MTSU has not lost a game since December the 30th. MTSU is on a crazy win streak and still is not in the top 25. I mean, that's
just because the conference they play in, brother. It has nothing to do with anything else. That's Conference USA, I think, for you.
That's true. That's true as well. Give me LSU over Rice. UNLV, I'm going to pick over Creighton here. And then UCLA over California Baptist. Give me Caitlin Clark again over Princeton here. Give me Colorado over Kansas State. Give me MTSU over LSU.
Okay, now we're just going crazy, but I like it. It's March Madness. Why not?
Yep. Give me UCLA over UNLV. Iowa over Colorado, and then UCLA over MTSU in the Sweet 16.
Go ahead, click on that number 1. You know you want to. You can't go against Caitlin Clark. I mean, you can. I'm telling you right now, I'm not.
Hang on. All right. So putting on my tinfoil hat here for just a second.
Yeah, one's across the board. I called it. Just go ahead, click on it.
No, well, okay. One's across the board there, but my tinfoil hat here is, you know, the discussion earlier this year where I forget who it was, Shannon Sharp maybe on ESPN said that Caitlin Clark is not the greatest women's player of all time, you know, just because she has not won a national title yet. Do you think that, you know, now she's the all-time leading scorer, does the narrative fall for Iowa to win it all so that all of a sudden, okay, she's won it all, she's the leading scorer of all time, she's the greatest player of all time in women's? Does it fall that way?
I mean, she's not winning it all, though. There's still a team right across There's still a team right across from Iowa right there that says South Carolina.
True. I'm just saying, you know, putting that tinfoil hat on, you know, that
which Tennessee has proved they're beatable. They just, for some reason, decided to not play defense with 1 second left. I don't know. I don't think, if you're asking if this is any way rigged so that Iowa can win it all so that they fit that narrative, I don't think so. But I think Iowa has it in them to win it.
Yeah, I agree. I do have Iowa beating UCLA in a close game. UCLA is a very good women's team.
Doesn't matter if it's by 1 or by 30, brother. They're winning.
Yeah, so I do have Iowa in the Final Four.
All right, that was boring. I'm sorry, guys, that you had to watch that. It's unbelievable. Just picking ones everywhere. But I'm going to do the same thing right there. I'm taking West Virginia. I'm going to go ahead and click Iowa because that's a no-brainer. Give me Colorado over Drake. Give me Kansas State over Portland. I like the MTSU pick over Louisville. But I'm taking LSU. I'm taking LSU again. There ain't no way MTSU is going to the Sweet 16, unfortunately.
You got one more game down there at the bottom.
Yeah, I know. I've been picking like multiple rounds.
Two more games, sorry.
Yep. Give me Creighton over UNLV and give me UCLA. I'm going to take UCLA there. I'm going to take LSU to upset UCLA. And I'm gonna have Caitlin Clark versus LSU, but I don't like Malarkey, whatever her name is. Give me Iowa all the way. See how quick I did that? I didn't even have to say anything, and people know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's crazy. But I've got 1, 1, and a 2. You've got 1, 1, and 1.
All right,
the number ones. Okay, so Justin brings up this point here.
Yeah.
Number ones are a 1 for a reason. Yes, they are. And I think, and that's what I'm trying to say is in the women's tournament, I think ones are weighted a lot heavier for this tournament than I would say for the men's. Because I just feel like the difference between the top and the women's basketball tournament is much different than the top of the men's, right? Or no?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And Eric from the Ohio podcast, appreciate you tuning in, brother. He says, good evening, guys. Mark it down. South Carolina will destroy Iowa. Iowa doesn't have the toughness to beat the Lady Cocks. But
I disagree, man. South Carolina's beatable. Tennessee, with their mediocre season, literally almost beat South Carolina twice. I mean, we've had to play them 3 or 4 times now. They are a very beatable team. I don't think it's a one-off. I really do think they're beatable. I just think Iowa's going to need more players to step up other than Caitlin Clark.
That's the question I wanted to ask. Turning it around to you, Eric, does South Carolina have a player that can slow down Caitlin Clark enough and make other players beat South Carolina? That's the question I have for you.
Right. So, but yeah, that's mine. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this final region here. Give me USC. USC's a solid team.
Yeah.
Give me Michigan over Kansas. All right. I like the nines in this lower region. I'm gonna take Vanderbilt, and I'm gonna take Vanderbilt again. There's my first big upset in the round of 64. Give me Virginia Tech, Syracuse over Auburn. I've got Auburn winning that, but give me Syracuse. Give me UConn. Eric brought up, I'm going to bring this up real quick, but Eric said it's not slowing her down. It's not letting anyone else do anything on the offensive side. Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, fair point.
Fair enough. But anyways, I've got let's see. I got Duke moving on. I got Ohio State moving on. I've got Ohio State moving on again against UConn. I am going to take... Does UConn do something super historic and have two, the men's and the women's in the Elite Eight? I'm for it. Why not? Let's do it.
Well, I don't have UConn in the Elite Eight, so I mean.
Well, whatever. I'm taking USC here. I'm taking Virginia Tech there. I'm taking USC there. And USC. I'm doing the same thing you're doing. All right, dude. That's what we have here, dude. It's 1-1-1-2. All right. You can take this from here. Finish it up for us, Michael.
All right, so on down to the bottom side here, I do have USC. As you mentioned,
Shocker.
They're a very good team.
Yeah.
I've got Kansas. I'm not picking the team up north. Eric's going to enjoy that.
Whatever.
Let's see. We got Baylor in the game. I do think that they play Vanderbilt, but I think Baylor's going to be too much for Vanderbilt.
Fair enough.
Give me Virginia Tech. Give me Syracuse in this one. UConn over Jackson State. I am going to take Duke over Richmond, and then Ohio State over Maine.
Ohio State Duke's going to be a big game, man.
It will be. I got USC over Kansas. I've got Virginia Tech over Baylor. UConn over Syracuse. And then Ohio State over Duke. I don't have any upsets right now on this side, and still don't, as USC is going to make the Elite Eight. I've got...
Do it for Eric. Do it for Eric.
I've got Ohio State over USC.
Let's go, dude.
I don't know how this matchup really plays out here, but you know what? For Eric...
Oh, you're doing it for
Give me Ohio State.
That's insane.
Getting the 2 seed into the Final Four.
You broke me, dog. I had money down on you picking nothing but one. Jesus, I just lost $2, brother. Yeah.
Final Four. This will be an interesting rematch. A Big Ten game right here in the Final Four. I do have Iowa over Ohio State. I think, and Eric can correct me if I'm wrong, that Ohio State did beat Iowa earlier this year, but I do have Iowa in a rematch revenge game, winning this one. I've got South Carolina over Texas, and of course, I've got South Carolina beating Iowa in the national title game.
And Eric gets his heart broke. There it is.
Let me go back to what he's. They're 1-1. Okay, gotcha. So either way, whoever wins that game, it'll be the best of 3 there. But I think that Iowa will get Ohio State.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm gonna break all y'all's hearts. Caitlin Clark ain't making it to the championship game. It's gonna be USC. It will be over South Carolina, and South Carolina will be the winner. Now this is gonna be a lot of people's picks. It's a women's game, and I think the total will be about 127. Yeah, I like it. We are going to submit. I think we're going to submit. I forgot how to submit. This is insane.
Bottom left.
Oh, my iPad is blocking it. That's crazy. I will put in all that later. No, I'm not. But there it is. So we both have South Carolina winning the women's championship game. They're going to... Will this be the first time? No, they did it a couple years ago, didn't they? Where they went completely undefeated the entire season, including the championship game or tournament? Or
yes.
Will this be the first time? Okay.
I think that they've gone undefeated before. And Eric here chimes in a couple messages above. He said, I can tell you've been watching the Ohio podcast. Absolutely, man. I've been tuning in some up there, calling in on your call-in show as well. It's not, I'm not even going to say the name. It is that team that starts with an M. It's the team up north. That's what you call it.
Well, so Eric would be proud. I knew that in the OHIO thing. So my father, my biological father is an Ohio State fan. So I actually have a little spot in my heart for Ohio State fans. And it's like a real love-hate. Like, it really is. Like, I love to cheer for them. When it's against that team up north, my wife's actually a big fan of Michigan. But, it's kind of fun. It's cool because it's out of the SEC. So, like, like deep inside me, I really don't care that much. But it is fun, especially in the postseason, to poke fun for both fan bases. So
he said, "I knew you were half all right, Skylar."
I'm not half all right, but I appreciate that. That's actually a compliment. I'll take that. So, but no, this has been fun, Michael. We've got the men's bracket filled out. We just filled out the women's on the special edition here. Games will be starting. I think the play-in games start Tuesday, Wednesday night-ish. And then
they start tomorrow.
Your Tennessee Vols start bright and early on Friday morning at like midnight. I'm joking. It's Thursday night at 9:40 Eastern. But, for your folks in Eastern time zone, we're going to have to stay up till freaking midnight. That's going to be fun to watch.
Tuning into it, so.
Yeah, I will be too. It is what it is. It's a holiday out here for East Tennessee folks. So, nobody's going into work Friday, so it's great. Unless we lose. Then it's going to be terrible. We're not even going to lose. We're not even going to talk about that. So, Michael, I appreciate you getting this together, brother. And let the folks know that anybody could just do what we just did by joining that link.
Yeah, so let me see if I can pull it up again real quick on the dashboard. So all you have to do is go to ESPN Tournament Challenge, search for groups, and you go to the College Huddle group. Now, we don't have a women's group, just a men's one, but just search the College Huddle, and it's free to join, don't have to pay anything, and just a little friendly competition in there. I did see that one of our listeners, Sean Carpenter, he put in a bracket in the group. There might be one or two more in there as well, but I did see he put in a bracket. So anybody else listening that wants to go in there, fill out a bracket, and just see how you do in it.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm going perfect. 64-0, 63-0, whatever it is.
Perfect on the first day or perfect through the whole thing?
No, whole tournament. I feel very confident. Now, you call me after about game one.
I was going to say, my luck, and this has happened the last 5 years, I have lost.
UConn is losing to the 16th seed, and then we're done, brother. It's gone forever.
Last 5 years, I have missed the first game of the day. But last year, I actually had a good bracket. I picked 11 of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16 correctly.
That's awesome.
But then I didn't get a single Final Four team correct. So
that's what's crazy is I remember last year I was so bad, but I had one perfect region all the way to the Final Four, and I was so proud of that. I was like, oh my gosh, like I 25% is perfect, dog. But the other regions, gone forever, dude. It was like Tennessee was the only one keeping me alive, and then they lost in the Sweet 16. So, it is what it is, brother. I'm excited though. I think every Vol fan should be. We got obviously the men's and women's playing. I am a little low on the women's this year, but they could absolutely prove me wrong, and they have been playing some really good ball. I know the win-loss doesn't show it, but guys, they played South Carolina 3 of their final 6 basketball games, I think, or 3 of their final 7. So it is what it is. They can still improve even though they're not winning on the court. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Lady Vols did make a Sweet 16 run. I think I would be very surprised if they made it to Elite 8. But, I'd be just fine and wouldn't be surprised at all if we could make another Sweet 16 run. And I think for Kelly Harper, we probably need that.
Yep. So I agree with you. So you have anything else tonight before we close out?
No, man. Just want to thank our show sponsor, Chris Smith, once again for allowing us to do what we do. If you guys want to hit him up, like I said, he's in Oak Ridge. But, if you want a quote or anything like that, just hit him up at 865-272-3387. He does all things insurance. He sponsors this show completely. So we are grateful for him and all of our segment sponsors, but this is a special edition. So if you want to know who they are, tune in on Sunday. We'll be talking about it. And I'm really looking forward to Sunday's show. We'll be breaking down a lot of the basketball games. I think the women's actually start on Sunday. I could be completely wrong, but I think they're a little bit behind the men's. So, but we'll give you some game previews and stuff like that. So be sure to tune in.
Yep. So for Skylar and myself, appreciate you tuning in tonight. Go Big Orange.
I'm a ball for life, y'all. I bleed orange and white, y'all. I will till I die, y'all. I'm a ball for life, yeah. fixing the checkerboard. Till I'm gone, go big orange. I'm a ball for life, yeah.
Dude, we had some folks tune in.
We sure did. And I'll go ahead and tell you this. I'm about to make another bracket where Tennessee is winning. So just so I have that covered too. But
oh, wow, you freaking Nancy. Look, that doesn't count, though. That's just a homerism bracket.
Yeah.
No, we had, let's see, my wife tuned in, your wife tuned in, Allen Anthony, big Richland Raider Tennessee fan. Justin Williams tuned in, Jared Forgedy, who's with one of the chambers here in East Tennessee, and then we had Blake Bailey,